already have me giggling, and I don't even know why. I guess it's because I'm just looking at my notes and the things that I've written down that I have to talk to you about. Because, like, you know how... Well, first of all, let me tell you, it's episode 499, folks.
Yes, it is.
Usually, Susie is the one who lets you beautiful people know all the important things that happen on this fantastic show. But I'm so excited about what the next episode is that I felt it important to announce.
I know. I mean, to me, 499 feels really exciting, even...
So good.
Just, like leading up to.
I mean, that's like you've done 499 laps around the track. That 499th one is probably just as satisfying, if not more, than
that's right.
the 500.
Then you have the anticipation.
Like, yes, and the build-up.
Yeah.
We're basically on the click, 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 click.
Yep. Yes.
I mean, this is saying it's a big build-up to 500, but I really do think it is. It's going to be the introduction of our phone calls, our messages.
Yes, we have a lot of people calling and leaving messages, so we'll listen to those on the next one.
Yes.
And that'll be guaranteed hilarity.
Guaranteed. But until then.
Yes, until then.
We can just,
$4.99.
$4.99 and I'm feeling fine.
She is still feeling fine, everyone.
Oh, how have
exciting.
You been, Susie Meister Butler?
So good.
Yeah, is that true? Or we just say
No.
these things? No, exactly.
Nobody is doing well. Period.
That's like a general rule. I mean, it's like surviving, not thriving. We know this. However, I am loving things in Costa Rica.
I'm sure you are,
Susie. It is like, well, first of all, pretty much everything is outdoors and open air here. Not pretty much, everything is.
Yeah.
Because it just is like that. And so everywhere meets COVID requirements and you feel safe. Because, like, you're in nature. And there isn't anybody around me for miles. And, like, I'm in the ocean. And there's, like, I'm totally social distancing. It's the freaking best. And I have just been, like, connecting to nature. Who knew all a girl needed was some time barefoot in the grass and in the sand?
I think we all knew that.
We all did know that. I mean, but, like, it's like a nice reminder, you know?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's no denying that there is... Well, okay, let me just say, I see all you fools on Instagram running around, acting like the pandemic's over. I'm not talking to you right now.
Right.
I'm talking to all of us who have taken this seriously.
Yes.
And sacrificed our own well-being.
Correct.
And, like, mental, whatever, restoration so that we can keep people safe.
Yes.
If you are among them, then I'm speaking to you. We are suffering.
Yes.
And we all need what you're now enjoying, this sort of, living.
Yeah,
We're
and
not living.
More than that, it's you know what I said? This is the ironic thing, Susie. Remember how I said that this would be my year of grounding?
Yeah.
Well,
how's that going?
Surprisingly better than you would think.
Okay, good.
And let me tell you why. So you got to be careful what you ask the universe for.
I know. We never learn either.
Never learn. When am I going to figure it out? Sarah, look for all of the ways. And damn, that universe is a sneaky bitch. And, like, sarcastic and funny and, like, she's like, oh, really? You want some grounding? Okay. Well, you didn't define ground. I didn't do that in the proper way of how I exactly wanted that. I was kind of loosey-goosey with that definition.
Yes.
So my mom has been telling me, as soon as I came down to Costa Rica, she's been saying this even before I came down here. She's like, Sarah, you have to see this documentary. You have to see this documentary. Documentary, blah, blah, blah. Because she's like all like that, and I love her to death, but that's how she gets. And she's right. And I'm like this. Basically how I am with you about...
Yeah, she's very insistent.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Even more than you.
More. Definitely more. She gives you no other option. Like, please,
right.
we all saw how
This is
I was
not
with
optional.
Interstellar. I'm like suggestive, but I don't shove it down your throat until you we're here at episode 499. You still have it.
Well, that's why, even though you started telling me on episode 11, you always say it like you haven't asked me before. Have you seen it?
Polite about it. She's not like that. She's like, why haven't you seen it?
Yeah.
So there's a movie out there called I believe it's called the Earthing movie, but it's about this guy who started as an electrician or somebody who worked for electrical plants, and he basically the electrical company, and he started really just realizing the connection between the importance of actually physically grounding something, you have to ground a house. When you build a house, the first thing you do, or put power down, the first thing you do is ground it to the ground. So gives that energy somewhere to go and releases all that. Mm-hmm. And he was it's interesting. We have to do this for a house, and then our bodies are all electrical like that. Yeah. And I wonder what would happen if I did this to myself. And so he ran some metal thing, metal strip on his bed, and then stuck a little rod in the ground. And he said, don't you know what? I went to bed, and whether, placebo effect at this point or not, he woke up and had the best sleep of his life. He felt so good. So we really started diving into this and looking deeper, and then, realized that this was something that has been heavily researched by doctors and by, and there's somebody who is a cardiovascular surgeon who said that he started prescribing time outside in the grass, barefoot, to his clients, and saw a significant reduction in inflammation and heart-related issues. And as soon as, and the invention of and they go into all these details. I finally watched it, and it was mind-blowing. And I'm God, she was freaking right. And how even just the invention of a rubber sole shoe, a shoe. This is for a long time, we did not have that to kind of block us from the earth. And now we live indoors. We are, disconnected from the earth. We go from, being in a car to walking on pavement to, being inside of a classroom or inside of a house or inside of an office or whatevs. And we're just so cut off from being from that, everybody knows that feeling of lying in the grass and feeling good. You can feel your body just relax in a different way. And I think so many people, myself included, have been cut off from this for a year, if not more. Mm-hmm. And so I asked for a year of grounding, and the universe was okay, I'm going to shake things up. And I couldn't get grounding staying in my house, even if I moved to, if I found a place right after, my lease was up and I moved, I wouldn't have gotten it there because I still would go house to house. Instead, the universe is no, you know what? I'm going to shake things up a bit. I'm not going to give you a place to live right afterwards. And I'm going to shake your life up and put it in a little blender for a bit. And guess what? You're going to have to go to Costa Rica, and you're going to be forced to ground yourself. Every single day, I've never spent more time outside and in the water and feeling connected to nature. I can't remember the last time I so intentionally did that while thinking about feeling centered and feeling, and it really does feel and you can test it. Don't believe me, don't believe this documentary, do it. It's the easiest, cheapest, most effective. I mean, not most effective, medicine is also nice, but all that stuff, but it's the easiest, do it yourself.
Free,
free, go outside and don't take my word for it. Just stand outside and see if you start breathing different. Put your hand on a tree with your shoes off. And see, you don't even have to talk to it all weird, my mom does.
You don't even have to do that.
You don't even have to. You could just feel it and take some deep breaths and see if that doesn't help. Just to get you up to the place where then you can go, oh, okay, how do I conquer today? How do I, okay, now I feel that. It's
difference.
Grounding, the electric, we need it. We're electrical. There you go.
Well, and may I suggest getting some bloomscape plants in your house?
There you go. Because if you can't be outside, at least bring the nature into you. I talk to mine all the time.
Big fan. I mean, we are plant people.
Susie, this is what I got you when you moved into your casa.
I know, and it makes all the difference. And whenever we were buying this house, I was like, but I need plants. I need all the life because I gave Sarah all my plants.
Yes, don't worry, they're protected.
And once you start filling your house with bloomscape plants, you will see what I mean. Yeah. Because it makes a difference in your mental state.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Fact.
And I got a new, I don't know like the Latin term, my mother-in-law would, but I always called them mother-in-law tongues. Have you? Well, that's so funny that I just said mother-in-law would.
I know. Sanseverians.
Oh, is that what they're called?
Yes.
And I love those
because
they're so hardy. They don't require a lot of care, but they're really beautiful. And they make a nice addition to my home. Yes. Bloomscape is great, though, because they deliver plants to your door, and they tell you how to grow them. You can learn how to make them thrive, even if you think you don't have a green thumb. And you can upgrade your space with beautiful indoor plants from Bloomscape. And they have a deal for our listeners you guys need to take advantage of. Get 15% off plant orders of $100 with promo code BRAINCANDY, bloomscape.com. That's 15% off plant orders of $100 or more at bloomscape.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. And I put that on our website. I updated all of our codes and everything.
Yes, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, because I love when people use them because they are happy and we benefit from it. So please do that.
Love.
You'll love it. Anyway.
That's like, oh my gosh, I just love plants so much. They're
but
my
you're
favorite.
So right that it like, if you can get out into nature, it does make a world of difference.
It doesn't even have to be much. It could be just take your shoes off, like the smallest little patch of dirt or sand, or like somewhere where you can be, where you're just like nature on like skin on earth.
Yeah,
you know. It's like
you're good out there.
Yeah,
really
you know. And I hadn't seen my mom in like 1 bajillion years, and she's just so funny and she's so much fun. She's like laugh a minute. She has us doing activities like. I mean, this is like...
is she always like that or just when you're there?
She's always like that.
She's on the go.
She's lady on the go, and she's just like bebopping around town, you know, and we're like, she's got like her motorcycle and she rides and like her bicycle, and then every single day, like she's got a whole routine, and every single day we see the sunset at the beach, which is, I'd say... And at first, when my mom always gives me numbers for things, she's like, it's 50 yards from my house. I'm like, yeah, it's probably like, half a mile. No, it's like 50 yards. That might be an overestimate. Like, it's so close. It's like across the street. And there's the beautiful, like, restaurants. They're all outside. And just walking down the street, you're just social distance from everybody. And it feels so free, and everybody, is just like doing the right thing. But also, like, getting to... It's like camping, but with a nice, But I love it. I'm just so happy. But I will say there are... my mom would say that things in Costa Rica, the easy things are hard and the hard things are easy. Mm. We went to... this, what's it called? Playa Grande. There's beautiful Long Beach where we were staying at this hotel, and we were like just walking along the beach, and we were getting back to like the other side of town where my mom lives. And in order to get there, usually when it's high tide, you take a boat, and the boat ride was probably like a 10-minute boat ride around, but we decided to walk. And you have to cross, there's one little area that you have to cross where it's probably like 20 feet across. Like, I could see the other side. Maybe I could see the bottom. I don't know. It gets a little murky. I was like, well, let's just go across here, Mom. No problem. I can see, like, it'll be fine. She goes, no way. I'm like, what do you mean, no way? She's like, this is where the crocodiles are. I'm like,
Oh, God.
excuse me, what? And she goes, oh, yeah, and I don't mean maybe crocodiles. There are 100% definitely crocodiles. In fact, 11 dogs were eaten just last year, whenever it was, by these crocodiles. And one guy lost half a leg.
No, that's a bad day.
Bad day. So, and they really know what they're doing because they charge you a pretty penny to go 20 feet. But, you're like, oh, thank you. It's like basically saving our life. And I don't need Bo to be anybody's dinner. And this is the part that is so crazy to me that gives me like the heebie-jeebies. So, or like really freaks me out. It like makes you not want to go back. Like, fuck sharks. This is way worse. And these guys definitely attack. Sharks, like, whatevs. Crocs, these guys are gonna get you. So what happened? There's like a river or estuary. I don't even know what it's called. You think I watch enough Alone, I would know what this is. But basically where there's brackish water, I know that. And it's kind of like where the river meets the ocean. And when it's high tide, it creates this channel where two ends of the river meet the ocean, and it creates like a loop, like a track for these crocodiles. The way that they discovered they were there, they had no idea that this was happening. Drones flew over, and the people who were tourists were taking pictures, with their drone, like, hey, let's take some cool beach shots, flew over, and they saw alligators surfing in the waves with the surfers.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God! There are, not alligators, crocodiles, but come on, same thing. But not same thing, I know, sorry. But crocodiles surf, in the way, oh my God, with their weird move and the oscillating fan. I mean, this is not... Doesn't that freak you out?
I don't even know what words you're saying right now.
Like the oscillating tail, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how a tail moves, with the way it kind of how they. It's kind of like a slither, but not. It's probably not the right word for it.
Undulating,
oscillating. Thank you. That's the word. See, you're like, what words are you using?
About fans?
No, I'm not. I did say oscillating fan because my brain went to some place because I got freaked out, and I'm trying to keep my feet off the floor just in case of alligators in my house.
When I was on when I was on road rules in Australia, we did stuff at a crocodile farm, and he picked a boy and a girl from our group to go out at night and go crocodile hunting, and he chose me and I think Shane, and I
Susie.
would never do this today. I was just ignorant and naive, and so I did it.
What was
thinking
it like?
It's no problem. We were in a goddamn rowboat. I'm not kidding you. Michael rowed the boat ashore, tiny little rowboat.
Golly.
And you bring a flashlight, and then you're floating on the water, and you shine the light, and it catches the eyes of the crocodile.
Oh, God.
Sitting
the little.
above the...
No.
Yeah.
Sparkly, listening back at you. Ah!
And we were supposed to, lasso it and put it in the rowboat.
For Pete's sake. Even the people in Costa Rica going only 20 feet are smart enough to bring one of those pontoon boat, a big old thing, to know that, just in case any of those guys try to climb aboard.
And when we shined it and you see all those eyeballs.
No.
And what if we fell in?
What if you fell in? Well,
this was not safe even a little bit. I cannot believe
did they give you one of those official road rules life vests that are all designed to protect us? And don't worry, we're putting you in with alligators and sharks, but you got one of those life vests and your stupid helmet.
A goddamn invisibility cloak, maybe.
Damn.
Anyway, the point is that was not safe.
Did you wrestle one of those guys into the boat?
No, I think that at a certain point they realized this was really ill-conceived.
Oh my God!
Because we didn't even end up doing it.
They're just getting it for the camera. Is that just for the shot?
I guess so. And maybe they thought we would be scared, but we were too stupid. We didn't even know we were supposed to be. Because you were in that mode of
and you trust
they
them.
wouldn't
It's
make
like
us
that,
do
right?
Yes.
They wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
The fact that they gave you a Winnebago to drive, in my mind,
that's the part that you think is unsafe.
At the opening credits, I'm already like, well, this is a bad idea.
This seems unsafe.
This seems unsafe. Have you ever driven a U-Haul with anybody under the age of 25? There's a reason why they don't rent that shit out to anybody under the age of whatever. Like, because
I didn't pass the driving test though, so I didn't.
Susie. Yes,
because it was
because it's insane.
It was a stick
too.
And on the wrong side of the car.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah,
I just can't with that.
I was 18. I had just gotten my license 2 years prior.
Please. And you're going to drive on them. You're basically asking them to rub their head and pat their stomach while they drive stick shift in another country. Like, come on, I can't. And you're going to videotape it?
This is hilarious.
I
think it's so funny that's the part that you think is unsafe about road.
I think that I'm saying that I think all of it, like it's an umbrella, like it's one of those things. Like if the thing on which you've built the entire show is fundamentally unsafe and a bad fucking idea, like I could see how did calamity ensue? I don't know how.
Calamity.
Whatever. How did that? Like this is this is what happens.
I feel like the stuff that we do on the challenge now, like very stunt, whatever focus stuff, is more safe than the random, be a firefighter for the day stuff we used to do.
The Cirque du Soleil. Let's just drop you from, jump on these trampolines. No, I'm sorry. Whiplash.
I got whiplash.
Yeah. It's so bad. Because this is it's like the things that they don't think are going to be, that's how it always is.
I know.
You just have to watch kindergartners or toddlers for 5 minutes and you can figure that out.
I know.
Oh, this is going to be real dangerous, but that open flame over there, no problem.
Well, you know what I have to use now for my whiplash?
What?
My Theragun.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Relaxation.
I mean, for real. Every time I go to a chiropractor, they're like, have you ever been in a car accident? You have whiplash. I'm like, no, I was on road rolls.
Oh, my God. Depends on the challenge.
The Theragun is a handheld percussive therapy device. You've probably seen us using it on Instagram. It doesn't just feel good. It gets to the source of the pain and it releases your tension and it just feels magical. And I prefer not to go to doctors' offices and chiropractors and stuff right now because I'm trying to stay in my house. So that made it even more important for me to have something to use at home. And I think if you are like most people where you're sitting at a desk all day and you're cramped over your laptop, this could really help you. Loosen up, baby.
Loosen up. We all need a little bit of that, a reminder.
Yeah, and get that tension out because we got it all in our bodies right now. Try Theragun for 30 days starting at only $199. Go to Theragun.com/braincandy right now and get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's Theragun.com/braincandy, Theragun.com/braincandy. Mm-hmm. It is so great.
Just thinking about it.
You'll love it.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, I meant to say when we were talking about Sally.
Yeah.
Because we had her on 15 Minutes of Blame to talk about my ghost.
Yes. Can you give me an update? Tell me everything.
Okay, so I mentioned when we were doing the call that the story about my son's tooth, but your mom didn't think it was the ghost. So I'm going to retell it.
I think this is insane. And I can't believe that she didn't have the reaction that I did. And I'm like, what the hell?
Well, and you need to ask her what she thinks did happen.
It? Right.
Yeah.
Because okay, tell everybody. Okay. This is crazy. Guys,
I was listing all the usual stuff with the ghost, lights coming on and off, doors opening, stuff like that. Yeah. Your typical ghost behavior.
Typical.
Ghost
and then
classic. I said, the weirdest thing that happened, though, and I was like, I don't know if this was the ghost or what, but my son lost a tooth, and the tooth fairy hadn't come yet. It was late, and Adam and I were about to go to bed. I was like, oh, crap, we forgot to do tooth fairy business. So he went in his wallet, and normally we give Lincoln $5 for a tooth. Lincoln had said, oh, I hope I get extra because this is a perfect tooth. And I'm like, well, maybe. So anyway, Adam's like, I don't have a 5. All I have are 20s. And I'm like, I don't even care. Just give him the 20 and I'll tell him it's because he had a perfect tooth and whatever. I'm like, it's late. And so I see the 20. Yes. He puts the 20 under the pillow.
And you looked for anything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we didn't have anything else. So when we woke up, I was so excited for Lincoln to look under there because I thought his mind would be blown by this $20 windfall. And he goes under his pillow and he pulls out the money and he goes, oh, just $5 again. But he was like happy. And I was like, what do you mean? And Adam and I are looking at each other like, did you switch it? Did you switch it?
Yeah.
And neither of us did. And I just don't know what happened. What do you think happened?
I don't know either. What? How did she just like not even? I still some ghost is messing with you.
Because we had such a long conversation about it while he was holding the 20 and everything.
Yes.
And like
how?
What
if Lincoln is being funny?
No,
he wouldn't do that.
Because he was sleeping. Then he woke up and pulled it out.
But like he didn't have any hidden 20s in his room.
He hadn't even gotten out of bed yet. You know what I mean?
Like, I know that kid. He's got money stashed away somewhere. So I was like, Sarah, look how much I saved.
I mean, well, he was in our room on like a mattress on the floor, so it wasn't
like... Oh, he could have done that
then?
Okay. What? Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So
I'm going to have to follow up with her over lunch.
Yeah, get the scoop on what else could it be.
Yeah, because I think she got excited about the
wrong.
other stuff. And yeah, I think that's what she's sticking with, but like,
But the latest is that like...
I feel like my mom is going to tell somebody they're wrong.
We have motion sensor lights, and they were coming on the other day when nobody was there. Like I was watching them in the hall, just turning on. Like, that seems weird.
Yeah, I think you need to, like, ask them, like, do something, like, interact with them.
Okay. Well, and then I read this article, and have you ever heard of the Paranormal Challenge?
No.
Your mom should enter. There's a contest that's offered by the Center for Inquiry Investigations group, and they are offering $250,000 to anyone offering indisputable proof of supernatural abilities. Mm-hmm. And so you can apply and say, like, what you've seen or what happens near you or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then if they think you have anything kind of credible or interesting, then you can fly there, or they fly to you, I guess, and...
to check it out.
Check it out. So some applicants show, like, they have made it... Like they say they can dim light bulbs with their minds, or they can view people's organs through their skin, or they can tell by looking whether the subject of any photograph is currently alive or dead. But nobody has do that. Nobody has done it so far.
Those aren't. I feel like that's not even how. I don't know how. Or like, yeah, I feel like those are crazy claims. But then things like what you have, not a crazy claim. It's so weird.
Well, I'm not even claiming anything. I'm just saying there's weird crap happening, and I don't know why.
You got to do like those that like put the salt out and stuff. So, like I don't know. There's like, I'll send you some.
But don't you think it tells a lot though that nobody has been able to claim this prize?
Yeah, but I also think that has something to do with the observer effect in physics.
Why?
So in quantum physics, and this is science, that particles exist as both particles and waves until the observer is. And you can see this with the double slit test that they do, where they shoot particles through like 2 points, and it creates a pattern that is both like waves and particles. And then as soon as you add an observer, as soon as you watch it, it decides where it wants to be in time and in space.
But
it loses the property of potential as soon as an observer looks at it. This is true because this is this is physics. This is like, I didn't make this up.
But I'm saying if that applied here, then the people applying would not have been observers either. You know what I mean? Like these people claim that they're seeing this stuff repeatedly.
Because I feel like they are, because they are in that potential space. And there's like, this is like the stuff that I don't freaking know about. I'm just like, this is like Sarah got a theory. But like I'm trying to combine like why physics with like that kind of idea. Like if they're in the like kind of like when we watched the movie Soul. and they're like in the flow, and they're in that other place in their mind where that is a place of unlimited potential. And individually, like my mom, when she's like doing a reading or something, is in that place of maybe unlimited potential. And then you have the person who is engaging with her and who also has to be in a place of almost like that flow and to match that. And if you have somebody who comes in with that, I mean, it's like, it's one of those, oh, how convenient kind of things. Like, you know, and it sounds like BS. But if you think about it in terms of what happens when you, like at a particle level, when you have infinite possibilities of options and like this open mind kind of concept of like you haven't even like focused on one thing, and then the second you try to look for something or focus, it chooses its space of where it wants to be in time and the plate, like in as a matter. This is like how matter works. And then those possibilities, those other infinite possibilities go away. And I think the observer studying it from the place of scrutiny and looking for inconsistencies or even like absolute proof without the open-mindedness limits the possibilities and potentials.
Well, I mean, it just seems like that's a long way to explain it when it might just be that these things aren't true.
Well, sure. But I feel like everybody has... Sure. That's total. But it's like... it's... How about this? I don't know that all those claims... I don't think somebody can... That's why I'm like, oh, those things are bogus. When somebody's like, oh, I can turn a light bulb on with my mind, or I can da-da-da-da.
Okay.
That one, those seem like far-fetched. Those seem like out of the range of what we can do. But you as a mother, have you ever had that feeling when you've been, like, separated from Lincoln, like, oh, something's wrong with my baby, or like, oh, he had a bad dream? That is it. We all know and have experienced this on a very... Everybody knows that. I, as a therapist, know when I have this feeling of like, and I see this I saw this in supervision. I saw this when I worked at the clinic. I saw this in grad school. I saw people who just had this like, and our professors would be like, we did a whole class on serendipity because it was like, I don't know. We can't explain this. This is the question mark part about it. But there's something here. And we just don't have the tools to measure that or find it. Or we're like so freaking new here.
I know what you're saying. And whenever recently I've been, we read the Ram Dass book. And then Chloe recommended this book about the Manson murders. And so, it takes place during that same time period of like LSD and psychedelics and opening your mind and woo-woo. And I understand when people refer to that stuff and talk about those feelings of oneness and being connected to the world. And like, we don't have all the answers and energy and time and space. And we have such a limited view. So I acknowledge that. I guess it depends, however, on this center, their definition of paranormal, and then like our definition of paranormal. Like, what are they including in that? I don't know but
because like, it's even like twins when they like answer, like there's like an energy. There's like, we know this. Anybody who's, it's like almost feels like, well, yeah, we all know that feeling. That's like a 1 out of 100, or maybe on the scale of like. I just feel like there's a lot of potential for, and you know how the like, I feel like every year at the Olympics or any kind of event, like any sport, I'm always blown away by how records are broken.
Yeah.
It's like, how are we still doing it? People have been running since the dawn of time, and we're still getting faster? How is that possible? Well, you think it's happening to our bodies and not to our minds? How ignorant.
Interesting.
We are also breaking records and expanding our human potential in the same way. Why would it happen to our bodies and not our minds?
Yeah. I hear
this is what happens when I spend some time with my mother.
No, I hear what you're saying, and I'm open to it.
Yes.
I just think it's also notable that people aren't claiming the prize.
Right.
And like in the article I was reading, they sort of describe different specific examples and how like people end up kind of backing away. Like when they try to set the parameters of like, here's how this is going to go. Like if you can talk to a ghost, then we're going to put 6 playing cards down on the table and you're going to tell me what they are. Things like that, where they're trying to use physical items and things to test something. And then everyone gets freaked out and like basically says no thanks.
Yeah. And there's like that vibe of like, because and I don't know, and there's a reason why none of them work. But I will say, as a therapist, the thing that determines the success of anybody who goes to therapy with me or anybody else is how much you trust the connection that you have with that person. You're like, oh yeah, this is going to help. I'm going to do this. If it's like somebody, like we see that in people who are in, like forced to do therapy, or like they're, dragged to therapy or like court ordered to go. I'll be like, oh, like this doesn't even work, because they're like resistant to, there's got to be, I can see like the resistance, and that feeling of resistance makes me, if I sense that, I don't have that now, but because I don't have anybody who's like court ordered, but I can remember like in the early days of people who like maybe didn't want to be there, and it was like, oh, I don't know if I can. It's a different effect. Yep, and I feel weaker as a therapist. I feel like I don't even know. I don't know what I'm doing. Like my confidence is gone, because there's that like, you can't help me kind of feeling, or like I don't want to be here. Like,
right.
What is that joke I always say? How many therapists does it take to change a light bulb? Well, first the light bulb has to actually want to change.
Right.
And so if you're dealing with somebody who's like, nah, that light bulb ain't changing. And then, that I feel like the person would sense that and be like, oh, okay, well, I won't even try.
Well, tell Sally anyway. Maybe she'll apply.
Oh, yeah. For sure. But she'll probably have the same answer as I do. I don't, it's weird. It is weird like that. You'd think that people would want to, and it feels so.
I'd want to give it a shot for $250,000.
Right. I know. I don't know. I can't do any of that, though.
Can't get around.
And I don't do it. I don't even know if I believe in that shit. I'm just arguing. Like, I don't even know. I certainly, like, I watched that Surviving Death documentary, and there was so much of it that I was like, this is fantastic. But then there are other parts where I'm like, what is
Isn't that funny? Right. I know what you mean.
I am a skeptic, a full skeptic. That's why I went to school, to study, like, what is really going on.
I think, though,
the brainy brain.
You and I are similar in that way, because I studied religion for the same reason.
Yeah.
To see if it held up.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of feel like you and I went in with you want paranormal stuff to be true, right?
No.
You don't prefer that?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, definitely
like,
not.
But you're not convinced, but you like would love it if it were.
No. I would. There would be nothing I would love more than to prove my mom wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding. That's totally just a joke.
Loved it.
No, I think it would be. It's more that I feel comforted by things that are very concrete and rational.
Yeah.
I like numbers. I like math. I like that. The thing that got me to a place of any form of spirituality or openness to a oneness or interconnectivity of things was science. Was me rejecting that and me being like, I'm like, fuck all of that. I'm just going to study quantum physics.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, well, shit. The more you do that, the more you learn that that's all that it maybe is that.
Huh.
And it was like, and then I saw other people who were not like, I'm not a scientist by any means, but there are people who were like, if I do this test again, it's not a scientific study, it's a study of faith and a study of, spirituality.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just, interesting. And I don't want, I would love it to be like cut and dry and be like, I remember being a kid and well into my teens and saying to myself when I went to bed at night, I don't want to see a ghost. I don't want to see a ghost. I don't ever want to see a ghost. Nope. Please, no. Please do not show me a ghost. I would say that because my mom would always say, if you want to see one, you will. And if you don't, you won't.
Oh, Lord.
And because my brother would see things.
You wanted to be real clear
and I was like,
it.
I don't. I just want to announce to the universe. I would like, and they were like, okay, well, you're just going to feel everything instead. You're just going to feel it all. There you go.
Well, if you want to see the Sally Rice ghost, whatever you call it, analysis.
Yes.
We put it on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/braincandy. That's where all of our reality stuff lived, but it just seemed like Sally belonged there too.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you where we all belong, and that is talking to a therapist. And now you can do it super easily and conveniently and affordably through BetterHelp. You know how we love BetterHelp because we all need help. If you're stressed or anxious, or maybe you're having trouble in a relationship or sleeping through the night, like most of us, the people at BetterHelp can help you. They have licensed counselors that specialize in everything that you might need help with, and they have service available for clients worldwide, and it is affordable and convenient because you can do it on your phone or your laptop or your tablet. You can send messages or meet with them, virtually. It's so convenient. Everybody needs it. You got to try it. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/braincandy. Join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's betterhelp, HELP.com/braincandy. I watched a documentary on Netflix last night called Made You Look, True Story about fake art. It was so good.
Oh, I saw this pop up. Tell me about it.
I really liked it because the story is so interesting. Like this, scam that was going on with a big auction house in New York. And I mean, it amounted to like $80 million worth of art. I mean, this was not small potatoes.
Wow.
And I just was so fascinated by how, the idea of forging, like how one does that.
Yes.
And then, like, what is art? What makes something valuable?
Because if it's just something that you can reproduce, that's not like, is it the original? Oh, my God. I love that debate.
And then, like, it also brought up how that the people at the auction house were tricked. And it really kind of hit upon the idea of like when a human being really wants to believe something, then their brain can play tricks on them.
There you go. I feel like that's all full circle.
Yeah.
Because the brain, those people who will go and submit their thing, maybe their brain's playing a little bit of a trick on them because they really want to believe. And in their reality, that is true, but in everybody else's it isn't.
And it's like the woman that was buying it for the auction house, like they said she was either complicit or the dumbest person that's ever worked at an art gallery. But like, I don't think it's dumb.
How did she not? Yeah, I don't think she would be dumb. What was her involvement?
She would, like, when you have a big piece of art, like you take it in and then the gallery
I think
director.
she wanted to look. I think she looked. What do they call it? Willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
Like turning a blind, like you don't even notice.
She just really wanted it to be real.
Yes, that.
Yeah. Confirmation bias, kind of?
Yeah. There's got to be a word. Is it confirmation bias? Like where you're like, I'm going to see what I want to see. Confirmation bias.
Yeah,
that's got to be it.
It is.
Yes, it is that.
And it's like, I get that because, it helped her career, well, at least for a time. And like, she was so excited, and everyone's happy because they found these previously unknown works by some of the most famous artists of the 20th century. Well, except they didn't.
Yeah, I wonder. So I saw something that was talking about carbon dating and how that's something that we can only even do for a certain amount of time because it has to do with like studying the levels of like radiation compared to then and now with like blah blah blah. I have no idea, but aren't those kind of the go-to techniques? And isn't it like not very difficult to? Or did she just be like take out like a magnifying glass and was like,
right, like a
looks
monocle.
about right to me.
No, I mean she would take it to because each artist has
certified or
there are experts and scholars of each artist.
Yeah,
and but it's sort of like a recipe because you can only do so much. You could say, well, okay, this looks like original, and then you go by the provenance story of the person selling it. Like, okay, I bought it from this person. I bought it. And you can hopefully trace it back to the artist and verify it. And then you look at pictures of the artist in their gallery, and maybe you'll see the piece somewhere. Stuff like that.
Oh, that's a fun treasure hunt, like a fun thing to do. Yeah. If you really, oh gosh.
But like when things started being like, well, I don't know. It's almost like she went la 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 and couldn't hear. I can't.
Were
hear
there
you.
people who were like giving her some pushback, or like were
eventually
kind of like
people
going,
were like, no, this is not a legitimate Jackson Pollock.
How did they figure that out? Oh, Jackson Pollock.
Well, when they did some of those analyses, like they would say this paint wasn't even invented till 1980
That's
or whatever.
What I figured.
Stuff
I feel like paper, paint, brushstroke.
Yeah, the canvas, the paint, the style, the signature, all that stuff.
But you know what?
But you think,
shout out to the people who make them.
Right. Like, that's the thing, because they were saying
ability.
In Asian culture, it's not seen as despicable to plagiarize. It's seen as a thing that you can do to honor somebody. So this guy, he was a Chinese math professor, and he could do all sorts of forgeries from all different artists, which made him very desirable for these scammers.
Wow. I'm kind of okay with that. Like, and even if it were my own art, like I wouldn't, unless it was like, well, I guess. Am I okay with that?
Well, if you admit that you do it, it's one thing, but to pretend like it's the artist's original work.
Yeah, that's probably. Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting idea. Like, if it's beautiful and someone thinks it's worth $1 million, then why isn't it?
Right.
Even if it's a forgery.
I like that. It really just means like all we care about is the label, and then that's no different than like, fashion labels.
And it's so embarrassing to like the art community who prides itself on taste and sophisticated.
Elitism and
Well, you guys all got tricked. So I kind of love that.
I love that. It's like that Banksy thing where they did the painting in the shredder.
My
God. Everybody's panicked look. Totally worth it.
We need to add Banksy to my list for the 500th episode of things I hate. Like annoying artists.
I'm annoyed, yeah. Annoying artists, annoying strip. Like I'm putting it on the list. I was even thinking of setting it up bracket style.
Oh, like what do we hate the most?
Yeah, and
really
like there's
fun.
like the subcategory of patriarchal things.
Oh my God, there's so many.
So it's like we can do like the categories.
I love it.
I know. I'm thinking
this is
going to
be elaborate.
Yeah. So. It's going to be simple. It's actually simple. Don't worry. It'll be like 4 things, but this or this. Yeah.
Okay. So. I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I already ask you this? I was thinking about how, when we all watched the Britney Spears documentary and like you see how the paparazzi and the interviewers treated her and you think, oh my God, like that wasn't even that long ago and it wouldn't even be as allowed today and stuff like that. And so I was trying to predict what will be the equivalent in 20 years? What will be like, I can't believe we did that. And one thing I thought, well, possibly was like our obsession with true crime. Do you think that there's any chance that
that's a good one.
Like 20 years we'll be like, that was gross. Why were we so into murder?
Ooh.
What do you think?
That's a really good one. Okay. What would be... My mind goes to, like, things that are more social, like
eating meat or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that, or like even like gendering children before age
that
5.
is already fucking ridiculous.
You know?
Oh, I thought you meant like gender reveal parties.
That too.
Oh, you think
but
like,
even like,
like,
you know, I think it could be interesting. Who knows?
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, like the idea of gender will be completely ridiculous someday. Huh.
I don't know. Long way to go for that, but I'm that's probably more 100 or 200. But we're already seeing things like that in schools in, you know, Sweden and places like that.
True.
So, or like Netherlands, and so maybe.
Yeah, to me it just felt like, okay, well, we can see from 20 years ago what we did that was unsavory. Wonder if we could maybe prevent having that feeling in 20 years if we like implemented something.
Because there's a bunch of stuff that we look back and we're like,
yeah,
like the way we would test on humans and the way we would test on animals and things like that. We're like, oh my God, that's so inhumane. Yeah, I'm gonna go eating meat.
Okay.
I'm gonna go eating meat. We're gonna be like, what the fuck were we thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just some food for thought there.
Interesting. Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you one story that I have to throw in here. I have to tell you about this and see if you even saw this. Did you hear about the plastic surgeon who had to do a traffic court trial or something like that? Who stayed logged in and attended his court trial while performing surgery?
No.
Yes, Susie.
Why?
He called, they're doing everything via, like, what do you call it?
Zoom
and everything like that. And this motherfucking, irresponsible.
That's sick.
I couldn't
Imagine
even
if that
believe
were
it.
your boob job or whatever the heck.
That's what I said. I looked in multiple articles to see if they put down what the surgery was, because I don't know why it mattered to me, but I needed it to be there. And the judge, the crazy thing is, he kept saying, the judge was like, unless I'm mistaken, I'm seeing that the defendant is in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is this correct, Mr. Green? Or should I say Dr. Green? That's an actual quote. And then he's like, yes, sir. And he's like, yeah, this is fine. I can handle it. This is the crazy. And the judge had to say, I don't feel comfortable doing this, and, blah, 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 blah. And, the judge was like, we're not continuing. And the fact that he was like, no, it's fine. He kept pushing back. This is what he's doing.
That's sick.
With a judge watching.
Well, I hope he gets, what do they call it when you
disbarred?
For a doctor, though.
No, oh, right. Oh, your medical license revoked?
Basically, yeah. A malpractice suit, at least.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Medical malpractice. But, oh my God, I've seen a few of those, or listened to a few of those podcasts where, Dr. Death, where, nothing friggin' happens. Dr. Death. Or whatever it's called.
I mean, come on.
Isn't that the most insane thing? I would sue the bejesus out of him if I were that woman being operated on. Or man. I bet I think it's a woman.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
I would be so mad. You're going to court while you're operating on me.
Do you think, is it possible that he wanted to, you know how it's very hard to reschedule court stuff?
You reschedule the surgery.
Right, but maybe the person wanted to,
you're being far too forgiving.
And then they knew that the judge wouldn't go for it, so they thought, well, then it's the judge's fault. I showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something crazy
I
like
see.
that.
Where it's like, look, I'm here. I'm doing it. The casual nature
crazy.
And in the middle, he was mid-surgery. And he's like, no, that's fine. There's another guy here. There's another surgeon here. And he's looking over. So now you're doing this with other people in the room. What's wrong with people?
Right. Oh my God.
I thought you'd get a little.
And it's traffic court too? It wasn't even
I think so. I can't remember I think it's something like that. The judge, let me see.
To be honest, I'm mad that the what do they call that? Like the legal system is even continuing with criminal trials and stuff right now.
Right.
Like, to me, it seems really disgusting that even in a pandemic, like, we're like, nope, we got to get a jury. Come on, everybody.
Oh, yeah. A traffic court hearing via Zoom while in the middle of surgery, prompting a frazzled judge to reschedule for another day when there wasn't a patient on the operating table. Yep. He logged into traffic court hearing.
Good Lord.
And the judge is like, what the fuck are you doing?
The world's gone mad.
Gone mad. I mean, that video of... the video of the man who was like, I'm not a cat. It's my favorite video.
God, I'm here and I'm not a cat.
I'm here. I'm not a cat. Well, thank you.
Yeah, let's wind it down.
Oh, gosh.
I got to get geared up for next week's or whatever day.
Whatever day.
500th. Okay.
We talked about how we're getting grounded in maybe a different way than we thought. Susie is getting her money stolen by ghosts.
Can somebody please Photoshop me as Crocodile Dundee?
Yes. Please? Yes.
Dahlia,
Susie,
I'm looking at you.
Could be there. I wish you could be there to navigate me across the Crocodile Mile.
Right, so I'm a real expert.
Yes, you're the expert. I need you. Where were you?
Oh, God. Okay. And then we want Sally to submit for the paranormal challenge, or at least I do.
Yep, you do.
And don't forget to watch that documentary, Made You Look. It's called.
Oh, yes.
Really good.
And shout out to the forgers out there.
Yeah, good. You're doing good work.
Yeah,
we're impressed.
Say it's yours, not theirs.
And we will see you next time for
episode
our 500th shenanigan. Bring back the Rasta horn.
Yes.
Now or never.
Yep. All right, guys.
We'll
Bye.
see ya. Bye.
Did you know that everyone has an aura? Do you know what color your aura is? Maybe you have a fiery red personality or a quiet and calm blue or green. You could be an organized and methodical yellow or an explosive purple. Come join me, Mystic Michaela, on my podcast, Know Your Aura, to find out all about how your personality can be explained in colors.